everyone, I am Joyce Baila and today I am going to talk about the myth by Roland Barthes. The first question is, who was Roland Barthes? His full name is Roland Gerard Barthes, and he was a French literary theorist, philosopher, linguistic, critic, and semioticist. Barthes' ideas explored a diverse range of fields, and he influenced the development of many schools of theory, including structuralism, semiotics, social theory, design theory, anthropology, and post-structuralism. He was born on November 12, 1915, in the town of Cherbourg, Normandy. His father, Louis Barthes, who was killed in the World War I when he was 1 year old. His mother named Henriette Barthes. And on February 25, 1980, Roland Barthes was knocked down by a laundry van while walking home through the street of Paris. And now, the Mythologies. So, Mythologies is a book by Roland Barthes, published in 1957. It is a collection of essays from Les Lettres Nouvelles. It is a French name of a magazine. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, but examining tendency of contemporary social value system to create myth. Barthes looked up the semiology process of myth creation. Mythologies is split into two, that is mythologies and a myth today. The first part consisting of a collection essays on selected modern myth and the second further analysis of the concept. And now, what is myth? According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, myth is a person or things having only imaginary or unverifiable existence, an idea or a story that is believed by many people, but that is not true. This is how dictionary defines the word myth. But Roland defines this term little bit different from this and any other dictionary. According to Roland Barthes, myth is a type of speech and myth is a system of communication that is a message. According to his definition of myth, it could be said that it is a type of speech like any other communication. It also involves sign, and these signs are used to communicate a special type of message, and that is myth. But this message remains hidden to ordinary people. Specifically, Barthes wants us to look at what he calls myth, and he is not referring to what we may colloquially understand as myth, which is something like ancient Greek or Egyptian gods or Phoebus, Cupid, and Psyche. For Barthes, myth is a type of speech. Specifically, it's a type of speech that is connected to the formation and their perpetuation of ideologies. The signifier and signified forming a sign. This is what we can call denotation, but Barthes add another level of the second order of signification, where the sign become itself signifier and attached to a signified. So how myth is developed? To understand the Barthes theory of myth creation that is actually semantic theory, we have to discuss the Saussure theory of meaning, because this theory is taken as a base by Roland to develop his theory. Saussure theory of meaning. Saussure was a Swiss linguistic and semiotician. He gave the theory of meaning, and according to him, language is a system of signs that expresses ideas. The sign is a basic unit of a communication, and it is a mental construct. Saussure accepted that there must be a two sides of meaning that possess a natural relationship between words and things. His levels for the two sides of were signifier and signified, one which the thing which signifies and the other the thing that is signified. It can also be taken as the concept and the acoustic image. The signified is thus always something of an interpretation that is added to the signifier. He calls this relationship a linguistic sign. These linguistic signs are not abstraction, although they are essentially psychological. Linguistic signs are to speak tangible, and writing can fix them in conventional image. Whereas it would be impossible to capture the acts of speech in all their details. When we say signified, these do not exist in sensible form. It is a thought and creation of mental image that the signifier has signified. So Saussure main concern is the linguistic sign does not link a name and a thing. Instead, it links a concept and an acoustic image. That is, language is more than just a list of terms that corresponds to things. An acoustic image is the mental image of a name that allows a language user to say the same. However, a linguistic sign links signifier and signified. A signifier is the sound we say when we see an object, and the signified is the concept of that said object, and the said object is the sign. In Saussure theory of linguistics, the signifier is the sound, and the signified is the thought. The linguistic sign neither conceptual nor phonic, neither thought nor sound rather. And he says that the linguistic principle operate in two principles. The first principle is that the linguistic sign is arbitrary, as there is no interior link between the concept and the acoustic image. The second is that the signifier, being auditory in nature, unfolds in time only. When the signifier and the signified are joined together, they produce a sign which is positive order and concrete, rather than abstract. The myth that is Barthes talking about is not reducible to a specific story, but it's instead a kind of a way of speaking and a way of telling stories. And so we have signifier, we have signified. The signifier representing the signified, and then we have a sign that bridges the two, which might seem confusing, but let me give the example that Barthes gives because I think it's good. So he uses an example, if you have a bouquet of roses and you want to give it to your partner as a sign of your passion, what you are effectively doing is using a signifier. The roses to the stand in for your passion, the signified, which you're going to give to your partner. Now, what we have here is on the one hand signified your passion, and the other hand signifier your roses. But it would be only make sense to you if we only understand these terms of relationship between the signifier roses and the signified passion. But because culturally we have an entire economy of meaning that bestowed us or inscribes these artifacts with this kind of meaning, then we are able to transmit that deeper meaning to somebody else. So the roses are just then almost naturally imbued with this idea of passion, and in that setting, when you're giving your partner roses that are the meant to convey that passion. And so in that moment where there is an almost inextricable association, a kind of detachable between the roses and passion, or your love, it means then it has become a sign. So the equation would go as follows: signifier plus signified equals sign. And now, here comes the example of mythologies. It's called the Paris match. On the cover, a young Negro wearing a French uniform is saluting with his eyes uplifted, probably fixed on a fold of the tricolor. All of this is the meaning of the picture, but whether naively or not, I see very well what it signifies. The French is a great empire, that all her sons, without any color discrimination, faithfully serve under her flag, and that there is no better answer to the detractors of an alleged colorism than the zeal shown by this Negro is serving his so-called oppressors. There is a signifier itself already formed with a previous system. A black soldier is giving the French salute. There is a signifier. It is here a purposeful mixture of Frenchness and militariness. Finally, there is a presence of the signified through the signifier. I think that's all my topic. Thank you for listening.